What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Wabi and I are back here with you yet again for round two. We did fire video last week. We're having a follow-up this week. We're talking Robinhood chain yet again because it seems like you guys liked it so much. What better than to talk about the hottest thing going on in crypto as of right now? We're going to be running down everything Robinhood chain. Before we get into it, please like, comment, and subscribe as always, and follow myself and Wabi over on X. Follow the BB page over on X. And if you guys don't know, we're running a sale right now in the BB Discord. Code Hormuz. Yes, code Hormuz, 75% off. Biggest sale ever we've done in the history of the company. And I know you guys are going to love it. Come check out our community on over there. And we're going to be kind of showing one of our flagship products that we haven't shown in a while. BB Terminal. If you guys don't know what that is, you guys will get a little bit of a sneak peek. It's been around for a little bit, but excited to start using it, especially as on-chain starts to heat up here. So, Wabi, we got Robinhood chain. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback across the board in some names like CashCat. How are you feeling? What are you feeling about Vlad right now? What are you feeling in regards to what's going on Twitter? They are just nonstop bull posting, brother. How do you feel about the future of this chain, and what are you seeing? What's making you excited over there?
Well, first off, I'll say I'm glad y'all are tuning in. Shout out to all of you that tuned into last week's video. We crossed over 1,000 views, and if there's any platform that's an indicator of people coming back into crypto or coming into crypto, you usually want to look at YouTube numbers. X is kind of its own little ecosystem. But going back to what you're stating, Vlad is bull posting Robinhood chain day and night. He is like the KOL. Trump is shouting out Robinhood. And one thing I'll say about this pullback, boys, is that if you were active last cycle, you'll remember one of the key tokens that really set the tone after Pepe was WIF, dog with hat. And if you guys remember early back then, going into 2024, you'll remember that WIF peaked almost exactly right where CashCat has topped out locally, right around 230 mil. You really have to zoom in there, Prometheus, like really zoom in.
Yo, whoa. I'm not used to the
coin gecko.
The coin gecko charts, brother.
So you got to go on the little calendar thing, and then
okay. Yeah.
And then just put like January 1st all the way to February 15th of 2024. That's the best way to do it.
Okay, February 15th.
Yeah, to February 15th of 2024. So what you'll see there is that WIF had a massive correction similar to what we're seeing with CashCat, where it was the leading name that really kicked off on-chain season. And during that time period, there were multiple tokens within the Solana ecosystem that started to come out and really show that Solana was here to stay. Tokens like Prime, tokens like Neon were also going ballistic. I think PopCat also came around that time as WIF started to recover, as well as a few other names. I think Retardio also came out during that time. So a lot of the names that were familiar faces of the 2024 on-chain bull market within Solana really started with WIF. And what we've seen over the last week, as CashCat started to get more mind share, we're starting to see more sectors pop off within Robinhood chain. Like there's just one token, mind you, this is not financial advice. This is just me describing what I've seen on chain. I may or may not have positions on these. Please consult your financial advisors before making any decisions. This is pure speculation on a very volatile market and a niche sector within this niche market. So there were tokens like Index and some other tokens like Pawns that went to 10 mil, 20 plus mil market cap. And then we're also seeing some new memes like Tendy skyrocket to over 30 mil market cap. So we're seeing capital actively rotate still, as we've seen on chain, but the ceilings are a lot higher. Especially compared to what we've seen on Solana, where you'll see things gap up to about 15, 20 mil. And once that asset pulls back, everything gets destroyed. You only have one leading thing on chain within Solana over the last few months, maybe a few other quote unquote beta names rally. But after that main runner starts to halt and really pull back, everything gets absolutely cooked. It's like Solana runs on this on this massive algorithm where they just want to take you out to the woodshed, as you like to say. The fact that we're seeing multiple 8-figure market caps, not just within memes, but also within RWA type platforms, like an Index. And I think there are some others that I'm missing off the top of my head. I think there's another one called Wood, WOOD, which the creator of Mamo created, which is an AI agenics platform that was launched on Base last year, which did quite well. And Mamo was kind of the same thing. It launched at a decent market cap, and it was just a slow grinder. And there's something that I've said many times over the last few years, which is history doesn't repeat itself, but it does often rhyme. So that's kind of my update with Robinhood chain and the things going on there. And I think if you just remain diligent and you think Robinhood is going to continue to gain mind share, especially as they push forth their own product and onboard their retail participants within stocks onto their chain, I think you're going to start seeing higher ceilings. And it all starts with the people behind the product to actually become aware of what their customers are demanding. And we've seen companies like Coinbase completely drop the ball with that. I'm sure you guys have seen one of the leaders at Base, Jesse Pollock. He dropped his role and he gave it to a CT native. He gave it to Kobe, who's been around for over 10 years. And I think Coinbase is just trying to play catch up in a race that they were really never a part of.
Yeah, I think they're falling behind big time. I mean, Kobe's took over the Base app. We'll see what comes of that. And like you'd mentioned, it does seem like they're starting to kind of fall behind the leader, which is right now Robinhood. You did not see a lot of the Base, the heads of Base active for a long time. Like, I don't remember the last time that they were trying to be active across the socials. And most recently, over the past week, they started getting active again. And it's quite clearly because, they're losing mind share, they're losing market share, and rightfully so. I mean, if we jump on over to Vlad's X, I mean, he is actively bull posting. I mean, he's like, if you're a builder looking to embed stock tokens or RWA into your applications, we want to hear from you. He's literally reaching out and saying, like, I want big players over here. I want serious players over here. He's not shilling creator coins,
That's
right? He's not.
He's not trying to push fees, bro, onto his
no.
platform,
Yeah, it's not like a Zora 2.0, like, hey, we want your digital art over here. It's like, no, we want, the future of quote unquote finance, or more so just the integration of an all-in-one platform. That's what Robinhood really wants to do. That's what they want to be. That's what they're talking about. And I do believe that they can do that. Robinhood X as well. I mean, a post they put out earlier today was roses are red, violets are blue, on-chain looks good on you.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about, man? It's these serious players that we've missed Robinhood in the crypto markets for quite some time. I mean, ever since 2022, when they delisted a lot of things.
Yeah. They delisted Solana at like $15 in June of 23, bro.
Yeah, they delisted a bunch of names, and they haven't been back until really 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah. In a serious way. And now they're back, and they're, like I said, back in a very, very, very serious way. We are seeing some local pullbacks in some names like CashCat, a few other names, but you're also seeing some of that wealth kind of rotate around within the chain itself, like 10Ds, like you mentioned. We're seeing names like Index, Wood, a few others, and the RWAs are kind of picking up steam in a way, which is good and what you want to see, truly, because that shows that there's life, that shows that there's, willingness to continue to bid names outside of just CashCat. Like you'd mentioned, from the comparison from WIF to CashCat, you are going to see localized pullbacks. Absolutely. I mean, it's inevitable. It's a part of the game. It's a part of on-chain behavior as people try to chase like newer, shinier things. But what we're seeing ultimately, and it's a metric that we showed last time we did the live stream, was the Robinhood chain asset landscape, or the total asset market cap on Robinhood chain, is growing. right? It is putting on some more meat on the bone, which is what you want to see. And I do believe that there's going to be, there's going to continue to be rotations. Do we need to see majors leg up to get, those $1 billion runners? Absolutely. That's just, name of the game within crypto. And if you're patient and if you're mindful, you're going to be able to catch, some piece of that pie if you're diligent. Again, I don't think that this chain is going anywhere. I think that they're doing what they need to be doing. They're placing themselves where they need to be placing. And what do you think of the comparison? We touched on this last time to Pepe in 2023, but Pepe did nothing for in regards to Robinhood Chain kind of being what Pepe was or is now to what Pepe was back in 2023. Pepe obviously had a 10-month long period of kind of sideways nothing price action out of a bear market bottom. But as of right now, we do like you could maybe extrapolate that, okay, the bear market's not going to be as long lived due to this asset class really maturing, especially over the last 2 to 3 years. And that recumulation period is probably going to be a lot quicker. You'd have to think, right? Just like the comparison that you gave to WIF on Solana when WIF started to go crazy and really heat things up on chain for Solana. Again, like looking at a Cash Cat, looking at some of these other names, your total asset market cap is growing on Robinhood Chain. So I mean, things still look great and things still look very, 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 very fruitful on there, or over there rather. And if you were to ask me, where's liquidity going to go in the event that we actually start to see some price appreciation to the upside for majors? I mean, there's only one answer. It's Robinhood Chain, right? There's nobody's wanting to bid Dino legacy garbage. Nobody's wanting to go onto Base. Like Base is arguably dead. I mean, even Virtuals, like they moved over. They're like they understand where what's hot, and they're like Virtuals moved over, and Virtuals was like arguably the biggest project on Base, especially for RWAs.
And all they did was like talking about Brian Armstrong. All he did was talk about agenic payments, whatever that means, and it's just a lot of vibe coded slop culture over on Coinbase. They didn't directly shout out any hardworking projects within the ecosystem. They just talked in buzzwords and that's it. Whether it's Robinhood, I think they're gonna do things a little differently, in my opinion. So
How do you think, with that being said, how do you think that you can capture the RWA narrative? Like how do you think is the best way to approach finding the winners in regards to RWAs on Robinhood? And like what vehicle do you want to use? Like what are you doing to identify the winners?
well, I would say first off, community, man. Community, that's like your number one tool. Most of the things that I find have come from speaking with other people. And I would say the first thing you want to do is interact with people that have been in markets for as long as you, or have been locked in for as long as you have this year and have had a good track record. That's number one. But as far as team specific, right now on Robinhood, it is a bit difficult. It is a bit difficult. You want to say that time is probably your best friend. If you see a trending asset and it gaps up like index to like 20 mil within a couple of days, just wait to see if there's any sort of trend formation for higher highs and higher lows, and then start to scale in appropriately. It is one of the leaders within the RWA quote unquote narrative within Robinhood. But one thing that I would say is, like, if you actually want something like a KTA to happen on Robinhood, you want to look for Docs team members. That's the first thing you want to look forward to. Docs team members, see if they've worked on a project before, and also see if their team actually understands about market demand. So right now there's clear market demand for RWAs within Robinhood, and you have to look for your leaders. Just as with memes, Cash Cat was your leader. So whatever the highest market cap token is within that sector, you pay attention to it. because as we saw, right, when CashCat is correcting, and I think it's also due to Noxa, which was the leading launchpad on Robinhood chain, they stopped facilitating business, and I think they actually have their domain like hacked or whatever, and there's like a wallet drainer. When these things happen, and you're in beta and the main runner stops running, your beta effectively goes to zero, like an options contract. So it's a lot better to have most of your sizing in the leader and just go off of that, but also understand that this is a new chain. And the best way to approach it is with smaller size. Like I mentioned in previous content that we've done, whether it's videos on X or here on YouTube, my size within CashCat was relatively small up until recently, where the size has been a bit larger, but not large where if CashCat goes back to like 30 mil or 40 mil, I'm going to be begging for change in the streets. You know, you still want to be mindful and still have most of your sizing in the leaders. And if you're seeing Robinhood chain lead the on-chain markets, that probably tells you that you should probably have some positioning in lighter. And if you look at the lighter BTC chart, that's telling you everything that you need to know. It's been one of the few tokens over the last few months outside of Hyperliquid that has been outperforming Bitcoin. And that's one thing that you should be very cognizant of is when you trade coins outside of Bitcoin and it's not outperforming BTC, what are you doing? What are you doing as a solvent market operator? Are you a market operator or are you just the beneficiary of a bull market when things are easy? And I think that's one of the things that can separate you from a lot of other traders is acknowledging the fact that you don't know everything and you actually do need some help. So as Prometheus said, guys, at the start of the video, we are running a sale, 75% off your first month, one of the best value self-investing things that you can do for the rest of the Trump administration. Join our community. We have a track record of being early to trends and speaking about these things at length. These videos are nice and all, but if you really want something personal, something that you can take with you for life, even after if you decide to move on to other communities or you just want to do solo investing, that's one thing that you can take away from this group is tools to empower yourself with your own capital to navigate not just crypto, but also equities and just being a market operator in general. So back to what I was saying, if you're bullish on Robinhood chain, you are bullish on the asset class that Robinhood is focusing in right now, which is crypto. And they do have a pretty large stake within Lighter. They do have an investment within one of their rounds of well over 60 million. So if they're putting their hard-earned money behind a product, which is essentially 24/7 stock trading, which is regulated, then Lighter would be your pick for this cycle. Whether something like Hype, yes, it's good. I do own a Hype. It's more so a bet on quote unquote decentralization and global markets trading, which isn't exactly on the forefront of regulators' views. So the best comparison I can make this is Hyperliquid is the poly market of perp dex and 24/7 trading and derivatives trading. And Lighter would be the Kalshi equivalent to that, where they're more regulatory compliant and things like that. So it's all one big giant trade at the end of the day. So that's what I would have to say. Be mindful of your sizing and be sure that if you're bullish on Robinhood, you have your core positioning within those leaders, which would be one hood stock, and then of course Lighter, and then you kind of just you move on from there.
Yeah, something we've seen too off the lows. I mean, Robinhood's up. Basically, it was up about 100% off the lows. Getting a little bit of a pullback here going into the end of the week makes sense with how the markets are looking. But regardless, if Robinhood chain does start to pop off, I mean, that meaningfully changes their business. Now they're starting to get meaningful revenue from crypto, which is very, very, very bullish because now they have a much more diversified business. And that's something that can never be, overstated enough. The more different streams of revenue you can be bringing in, the better, right? And if you're at the top of the list for what's going on within a certain sector, even more so. Wabi had mentioned that, to watch out for docs teams, finding teams where the devs, the people, the founders are doxed, I think is very important. If I look back to my experience with KTA, what really stood out was a few different things. One, yes, the team was doxed, very important. They had a track record, they had a history. And not only that, there was also some, kind of, it was like there becomes like this, you know, I don't want to say secret, but this like infatuation with understanding where it's actually, what's actually going on, where it's headed, when they're going to be releasing, key developments, when they're going to be releasing the product. The worst thing, in my opinion, or not the worst thing, but what differentiates a $1 billion runner from like a 20 to 50 to maybe up about $100 million runner is the product itself. What I've seen and what I've really noticed with, some of the protocols that I did capture, the upside on one of them. I won't say the specific name of what it was, but something I noticed was, I got in, I caught some of the bullish flows, some of the bullish momentum to the upside. But when I started actually using their product and viewing their website, it was just AI slop. And we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to see a lot of like vibe coded garbage and like just not to sugarcoat it, like we just simply are. And so if you go in, you view their website, you view, let's say they have a white paper, you view their white paper, you view their docs, you view, their product. And if it just looks like vibe coded slop, KTA, when I went and saw their stuff and I looked at their website and I looked at everything, almost immediately if they're serious or not, right? And it's there's a big difference between the two. And when I saw that, I almost immediately knew like this is either this is either a zero or this is too good to be true. Or it's too good to be true, or it's going way, way, way higher and ended up going way higher. And so watch out for those things. Like we don't want vibe coded slop. We want a serious project. We want serious devs. Does their product stand out? What are they kind of hinting at? Where is the anticipation factor? That's been a huge thing for a lot of these $1 billion runners is what anticipation are they building, right? Why are people, how are they getting people excited for the future? How can they keep people, there bidding and buying the underlying, right? That is one of the most important things for me and what I'm looking for moving forward to really see what's going to be a diamond in the rough and what isn't. And if we look at virtuals, is the same thing, like super serious team, super serious product, right? Like grinding, like getting deals done. Like there was anticipation. They had 3 different seasons. Like they did what was necessary to send their token to where it went. And you need to see those same things. Otherwise, it's just not going to be a serious, like a truly like a, a not a generational runner, but like a cycle generation runner, right? And there's only a handful of those. And you'll know it when you see it. So, I mean, that's kind of what I got. Wabi, do you have anything else? Anything else you want to cook on here? Any leaving or exiting thoughts here for the audience?
I would just say take advantage of our sale guys. I think the rest of the year is going to be filled with opportunity, but it's going to be opportunity where you're going to have to lock in and prioritize where your attention should go. You shouldn't be wondering, oh, where could volume go on this chain or that chain? Maybe this chain comes back. Maybe this then altcoin comes back. You have to pay attention to what's happening in the market right now. And fading consensus is oftentimes led to the destruction of your own capital, whether it's sidelined or whether it's put to use betting on the trend. And what sets the trend? It's TradFi. We saw that in 2023 when Larry Finkelsteinberg was talking about the ETFs quarters before it even went live. So history repeats itself. Sometimes it rhymes. History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. And we'll see what happens as Robinhood starts to talk about their own chain more and more as the quarters go by. And if history is any indication, and we go by what history has told us, usually the pre-halving years are somewhat of an echo bubble that makes a lot of people money. 2019 was a good year. 2023 was a good year, riddled with opportunities. Caspa, Injective, Say, Celestia, many coins went ballistic in 2023 during the second half, but regardless, the pre-halving year does set things in motion. And usually you see a little bit of that as the midterm years come to a close. As a matter of fact, if you look at Dogecoin before the FTX collapse, I think Doge pumped something like 80%, 75% in October of 2022 or something like that. It had a gnarly run a few weeks before the FTX collapse. And yeah, I think it's that little pump there that you see, Prometheus. Like it's like a wait, hold on, let me make my screen bigger. Yeah, you'll see like it had that little gap up before just grinding lower. You'll see it going towards the end of 2020, 2022. It had that actually had a big candle. Yeah. No, a bit lower than that. Going into 2023, you'll see that huge gap up candle. I think that was like right before FTX. It doubled or something like that. And so again, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And I think what's going on with Robinhood Chain is going to set the tone for this upcoming cycle, the 2028 cycle, which I believe the cycle peak is going to happen going into the halving, as I believe that Donald Johnsonberg Trump is going to be speaking about crypto and bag working crypto just as he has with many stock tickers over the last 12 months. He shouted out Intel, he shouted out IBM, he shouted out Dell, all which had 100+% gains shortly after he tweeted about them. Even if they corrected after they had a huge pump, it was still a pump, right? And you have to respect it. And I think he's going to do the same with crypto. I think it might be Hyperliquid, it might be lighter. Maybe it's Solana, but my gut says lighter and Hyperliquid, probably lighter. That's my bet for the cycle. I'm bullish on Vlad Tenev for this cycle, and I really hope I don't actually have to bridge back to Solana. I really want to do that because I do feel like just from participating on chain, I feel like I have somewhat of an edge, right? Like if you take a look at what happened with Noxify, their leading platform, now you know that, all right, there's launchpad wars going on. What happened during the last launchpad war, right? It was bonk and pump swap. And we know during that time period, there were a lot of tickers to play. And of course, now a lot of these legacy names within Noxa, like Doggenhood and Juggernaut and things like that, they might have a difficult time coming back. I mean, they might come back if CashCat inevitably makes all-time highs. But during this time period where there's other leaders, you're probably going to have some competition. So with that being said, that's pretty much what I've got, guys. We cooked for almost half an hour. If you guys liked the video, like, subscribe, check out our sale, guys. 75% off of your first month, which essentially equates to a little over $1 a day for your first month. And believe me when I say this, this group is an investment within yourself. And I guarantee that there is a non-zero chance that you'll probably make back your money very, very, very quickly. It's only $37. And moving forward after that, it'll be about $150. But with all the value and community vibes that we have and the active community that we've got, just exchanging trade ideas, live streaming with our community, again, there's a non-zero chance that you'll probably make your money back. And you'll be able to develop some tools within your arsenal to take with you for the rest of your life when it comes to your capital, which is what we strive here to do at Because Bitcoin. So thank you guys for tuning in. That's it from me.
Yes, sir. We'll see you guys next week. As always, thank you so much. This is Prometheus and Wabi. Appreciate you guys. And we will check you guys out. Check us out. See you guys later. Peace.
Bye, guys. Bye.